This episode was good, man. This episode was so good. Oh, it was so good. But first and foremost, let's get the most important news out the way. Akihiro X Laughter is actually happening. It's really happening, yes. And Eaze is actually cool with it. She's like, it's alright, girl. It's okay if you like him. I won't tell Naze. I'm like, yo, but seriously, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Infrar-Ed. Welcome to the Scout Reports. Today I'm bringing you an anime review of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blood's Orphans, Season 2, Episode 8, Episode 33, whichever one you want to call it. Us longtime Gundam fans know how things work. It's like whenever you get a really high action episode like last week, or you get a big character death or something like that, you always get that episode after it that's going to be kind of chill, kind of build things up, kind of set things up. And that's exactly what this episode was. It was a setup episode, but the thing is, the setup that we got is big, and it has the biggest implications for the end game of the series, as a deal was presented to Orga by Farid that could very well make him the king of Mars. I mean, we talking straight up Game of Thrones stuff right here by anointing him the king of Mars, because we know the battle that's going on with Gjallarhorn, with Rustal and Farid, and those two battling each other. And I'll get to that in a sec, because we actually get a little bit of backstory that was interesting. But we always wonder what would be the reward for Tekkadan for helping Farid get to power within Gjallarhorn, and he puts the deal out on the table. If it's truly genuine, we still have to question that too. That if Tekkadan helps him get to the head of Gjallarhorn, he will give them full control of the Mars branch of Gjallarhorn. And within Mars, Gjallarhorn owns all the colonies around Mars. So if he gets that control, he would actually be like a sovereign. He could be the king of Mars, with everything as far as the property being under Orga's control. And he was very enticed by this deal, because ever since the beginning of the series, Tekkadan always wanted to stand on their own 2 feet. Teiwaz came in as help for them, as moral support, as financial support, but it was still in his heart that he wanted to do things on his own. With him having control over their homeland of Mars completely, he's definitely wants to take this deal, and he knows that this will bring him into a clash with Teiwaz. In fact, people are a little bit worried about that, because we know the higher-ups in Teiwaz don't want anything to do with Tekkadan to begin with, and I really don't want to see him and Naze fight, but it just seems like it's going to happen. And I don't think Naze will want to fight him either, but the higher-ups will probably force him to, because if they align themselves with Gjallarhorn, if they become Gjallarhorn or the king of Mars, that's going to cause problems, because they was absorbed by Teiwaz. So that's definitely coming. It was big news for everybody in general, and the most important thing to take out of this episode is probably regrets. We see the regrets of a lot of people. Everybody's on board for it too. Everybody's like, if that's what you want to do, Orga, we're going to follow you. The only person who wasn't cool with it is Takaki, because Takaki quit. Wow, I mean, this is shades of Biscuit all over again, but it was done in a better fashion than when Biscuit left, because he had a rift with Orga. Takaki's making a decision to leave Tekkadan because he just wants to have a better life for his sister and himself. He wants to have a safer life for himself and his sister. He's tired of seeing people die. He's tired of losing people close to him, and losing Ashton really did take a big impact on him. So he wants to stay on Earth. He just wants to get like a regular job and stay with his sister, have a better life, because he said, I'm very happy that you guys have an end goal, but if we become kings of Mars, that's just gonna bring more war, that's just gonna bring more bloodshed, and I'm honest, I'm not cut out for this. And Orga was okay with that. He understands. He doesn't want to see the same type of thing happen with Biscuit again. And overall, he just wants the best for everybody in Tekkadan, even if it means somebody leaving it. What was interesting, it seemed like Mikazuki was a little bit salty, because when Takaki was walking away and he was talking to Chad, he went by and he was going to say like, I'm sorry or something of that nature to Mikazuki. And he was like, no, your sister's your only family. We're not your family. We're fine. We'll be okay. Don't worry about Tekkadan. But Akihiro comes in. He says that's just his way of communicating with you. That's actually him being nice. Don't worry about it. Don't take it to heart of him saying you're not our friend, you're not our family anymore. That's actually just him saying that I wish the best for you. And we can see that with Mikazuki as well, as he was talking to Orga, and he said, why did I feel relieved when Takaki said that he wanted to leave, and Orga didn't have an answer for him, but that is the answer within, is that he's happy that Takaki will actually be able to have a life of his own and have a better life for his sister instead of having to constantly fighting wars like they've been doing all their lives, even though they're like kids. They have known nothing but war. So to see one of their friends actually get away from this type of life and can do it comfortably, Mikazuki's happy about it. He just doesn't know how to express it. We also got some build up with Cordelia, as well, as it seems like ever since the second season started, they've been pushing more and more towards her going back to her goal of getting Mars's independence and being on her own, because earlier in the episode, Makanai actually did offer her to stay on Earth to learn from him and kind of be like his successor, but she refused to offer when she seen what Tekkadan was doing, because her home is Mars. She want to go back to Mars, and if these guys are gonna have Mars to themselves, that's gonna be the better way for her to expand her political wings and grow herself. So she did kindly decline the offer. It was a death flag for Makanai too, possibly, as he's saying he was really thankful that Chad, someone so young, gave his life for him, because he doesn't know how much time he has left. So that's why he wanted to give everything that he knows to Cordelia, and he probably could very well still do that, but usually when that happens, he's probably going to pass away or somebody's going to assassinate him like they kept trying to do. But to see her go off on her own, she also had a little talk with Takaki as well, by saying that it was confirmed that he did kill Raditz. So he was wondering, like, how is it supposed to feel, because when Mikazuki killed that guy way back in season 1 and they declared their independence, he said it didn't feel that same way when I took out Raditz. And everybody's made differently, you know. That was a different matter altogether. Even though Raditz was scum and he was trying to do the same to them, it just didn't have the same effect. And Cordelia kind of told him that this isn't going to get easier for you. You're going to have different decisions like this, and it's going to be up to you to make the right decisions. And this talk that he had with her also led to him making the decision that he made at the end to leave Tekkadan, because this just isn't the life for him. And once again, regret should have been the name of this episode, as we see what everybody's going through after this war happened and everything that went on in general. Like, for example, Chad is looking through the list of everybody that died, and he said, this must be how it feels to be Orga, to look at all these people that we lost and feel responsible for it, because Raditz's plan went right under him and Takaki's noses. Even though it wasn't necessarily their fault, they were just following orders, he still feels bad for that. And we see that Axon's last name was Atlan, which is the same last name as Akihiro. And I know some people mentioned that this was actually on the box for the Gusion, that Akihiro took in Axon as a little brother, because they took care of his real little brother Mashiro when they were in the Brewers and he died and everything. So he took in Aston, took him as his own little brother, gave him his name and everything. So it was nice to actually see that, and see that it didn't get skipped over. It would have gave things a little bit more impact last week if we would have known that beforehand, but I'm glad that it was out there now, that Akihiro sees everybody as a little brother that he took in from human debris. So that was really nice. I really like that. He has regret too, because he wished that he could have had more time with Aston. He wished he could have talked to him more. The two really were parallels of each other. It was like looking at a younger version of himself. So I really do hope that this relationship between him and Laughter do come to light, because he needs some type of happiness in his life outside of battle. But what was most interesting this episode, or at least second or third most interesting, I lost count at this point, was to see a little bit of backstory for Farid and Rustal, as the battle lines between these two is so thick you can cut it with a knife when they're sitting in the same room, as they both keep trying to trump each other, because the 7 stars are shook. They're shook about what happened on Earth with this battle with the Brabu forces, and Rustal is actually trying to cover up his involvement by saying, I didn't know anything about this Galan guy. I don't know how this could have happened. Of course, the only person at the table that knows he's lying besides himself is Farid. And Rustal has something over Farid too, because he knew for quite some time that Farid was plotting to take over the family all along, because Farid, or McGillis, he is our resident Char character of Gundam. He's our Char character ever since the word, even with him being adopted into this family and wanting to take it down from within. So he says to him, like, you know, I didn't expect for you to do this plan so cleanly. And he one-ups him too. Farid was kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it was a nice little trump between those two as well. But you can see that maybe at some point, Rustal probably did have a better relationship with him, because when he was first there, he seen the scars on his neck and that he was abused, and he heard about that he wasn't like he was an illegitimate child, and he's probably just been cast aside. It looks like he did feel sorry for him, maybe did take him under his wing. But overall, we see that Farid just wants control. I really want to know more about his family. I know they gave us like a little implication about what's going on. And again, if you really want to know what he's doing, you can always go back and look at Char Aznable and see his backstory. It's pretty much the same thing that's going on with Farid. Maybe even Zex Marquis from Gundam. It was kind of the same thing there as well, because, you know, he was Zex Marquis, but we found out his name was really Miliaro Peacecraft. We've seen this type of story over and over in Gundam, and whenever they do it, it always comes out pretty clean. I like the direction that they are taking with Farid and his character. And we also catch up with Galileo, who looks like he may finally actually do something next week, but it was nice to show him have a callback to what happened with Eaze and what was his name? Crank? Eaze and Crank. Yes, that's right. Because I don't remember her name for the life of me, because I feel like they only said it like twice. But you know, the little blonde girl, she was actually trained by a Galan, and she wants to get revenge for him. She wants to go out on the field and take battle for his honor. And he says, you know what? You're disrespecting him by going out saying that you could have did a better job or trying to interfere in this. You know what? This reminds me of someone that is very close to me who went through the same type of thing. That's basically what he said to her in a roundabout way, because you knew that his entire motivation in season 1 was to kill Mikazuki for killing Lieutenant Crank. So he sees the same thing happening with her. The part that's interesting is he's saying that she asked, where is this person? He says that he's close to me. I feel that this Graze that he's working on probably still has like an AI or something of iron inside it, because they use that same technology to revive him. So we're going to see a fusion of those. But overall, that was pretty much all that we can chew on this episode. Again, it was a setup episode, but to get that end game to one day call Orga the King of Mars, if Farid isn't trying to set him up, it's definitely worth it, and we can see the end game of this series. So definitely let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there's not a shortage of content for you guys to indulge on this channel. And I know my Gundam reviews can be pretty long, but I'm very passionate about this series and I really love it. I would have to say it's a lot of things that I call my favorite, but I definitely look forward to what Gundam brings to the table every week, and I always have ever since I've been watching Gundam. So as I also always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me even when it is a long-winded review, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Infrar-Ed signing out. See you soon.